worst fan bases in UFC. So if you scour the internet, like myself, and try and start as much controversy on Twitter as humanly possible, you will find some of the worst fan bases known to man in comment sections, in fucking just anywhere. There's just a handful of just terrible, casual, have no idea what they're fucking talking about fan bases, and we're gonna go over them today. So we'll go from 5, and maybe we'll make this like a series because there's genuinely that many. But the top 5 I've got here. There's loads more I could add, and we'll talk about that at the end. But number 5, I have Sean Strickland fans. Mainly Sean Strickland fans that call the Dricus du Plessis fight 1 a robbery. It wasn't a robbery. It really fucking wasn't a robbery. Honestly, if anything, I can see more of an argument for Dricus in the middle rounds, the middle 3 rounds, than any round for Strickland. You know, he gets 1 round, which is the 5th round. First round, maybe. You could argue that's Dricus. But that was such a close fight. Wasn't a robbery. It really wasn't a robbery. And we'll get on to these fucking fan bases as we go on that just call every single fight a robbery when it wasn't. As well as just, I get it, right? Sean Strickland's funny. He's pretty conservative. You know, conservative views hold a society. But these people who are fan base of Sean Strickland, fucking hell, what the fuck was that? Of Sean Strickland, they're just conservative retards. Let's be honest. Like, I'm all for it, right? But they take it to the extreme, and it's just every time he fights, they're like, "Oh, he's gonna destroy anyone," even though his style doesn't destroy anyone. He picks apart every single opponent he's fought. He picked apart Adesanya, and it was one of the best witnesses. But it was still a boring fight. Like, it's like, fair enough, Sean Strickland fight week is amazing, but then as soon as it comes to the fight, you're like, all right, what's going to happen this time? But he is really fucking tough, and I'll give him that. But we're going to go on to number 4 now. Number 4 is Max Holloway fans. These are fucking horrible. The casuals, they have no idea about the sport. Fucking, just everything wrong with the community is a Max Holloway fan. They think Max is somehow the second GOAT of all time, even though he has 2 fucking title defenses, I think, or even not even that, right? They say he robbed Volk. He got robbed against Volk in the second fight when he just didn't. It was a very close fight, such as the Sean Strickland with Dricus du Plessis. But the main problem I have for the Max Holloway fans is just how casual they are. They put him against Aldo because he beat him against twice, but they don't realise that Aldo did so much before then. That's why he's higher in the GOAT list, and that's how I put stuff together. It's like how I have at the moment is Aldo and Volk are drawn at number 1. When Volk beats Evloev, then he guess he's number 1. But I have them drawn at number 1. Well, how these Volk and Holloway fans have it is Volk number 1, Holloway number 2, Ilya number 3, and Aldo number 4. And I've seen people put Aldo at number 5 because he lost to McGregor in for 13 seconds. They just hate. They just actually fucking just shit on anyone to make their guy look better. And it's like, Max Holloway is really good. And it's like, you can't actually enjoy a Max Holloway fight week because it's just absolute casual fan base that think he's like the next god level opponent. Like, they ruined the Justin Gaethje knockout for me because I actually predicted Max Holloway to win that fight. And I've got called wild and all that type of stuff. But I couldn't even enjoy it because afterwards it was like Max proved everyone wrong and all this type of stuff. And it's like, yeah, he did. And then it's like Max showed levels and was like, come on, right? If any other, you need to be honest, yeah. If anyone else fought Justin Gaethje the way Max did, they would get called boring. Because let's be real, let's be real, it was boring before the knockout. The 4th round was very fun. The 5th round was obviously very fun. But if any other fighter fought Gage like that, they would have got shat on. But because it's Max Holloway and he's so beloved, you know. But we'll move on to number 3 now, because I've yapped on a bit too much. Israel Adesanya fans, these are fucking horrible, casual fucking, no clue about the sport, no clue about striking either, and we'll get on to this in a minute. They call Israel Adesanya the best striker in the sport, on fucking what merit? Like, he's had close fights with practically every single one he's fought. The only really good win he has is Alex Pereira and Robert Whittaker, and Robert Whittaker should have won the second rematch. And it's like, you have people like Kenny Okoye, who's just, he just glazes black fighters. He just genuinely just does. I swear he said one of his unpopular takes was Jared Cannonier would beat Dricus du Plessis. And I'm like, well, he always has a puncher's chance, but other than that puncher's chance, what is this guy talking about? You know, and it's like the Gregory Rodriguez, like, I chose Jared Cannonier to win, but like, I got that prediction so wrong until I got it right, if you get me. If you watch that fight, you know what I mean. But Adesanya, he's not a good counter-striker. There's so many moments of just Dricus blitzing in like a mong, and just bong, 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 knocking his head all over the place. There's so many examples you can use from the earliest, like, what was that fight? You could use the Robert Whittaker fight, definitely. Definitely use the Robert Whittaker fight as one as well, because he blitzed in so many times. And it's like that fight, because he threw a left hook that caught Robert Whittaker, one of the most chinny fighters in the sport, right? And now he's automatically an elite counter-striker. I blame Joe Rogan for this, because he himself always glazes black fighters, and he seems to have something against, like, GSP too. But that's just a different topic for a different video. If you want to see a topic of Joe Rogan's worst takes, I will make a video on Joe Rogan's worst takes if you want, because he has so many. Please comment if you want to see that video, because there's so many. I could literally make an hour video, 1 hour video of Joe Rogan's worst takes. But one of them is Israel Adesanya is one of the best strikers in the sport, even though he's been outstruck so many fucking times. Like Volkanovski, right? I'd say one of the best strikers in the sport. There's zero example of him being outstruck. Ilia Topuria, before he got knocked out, he was winning that round. Obviously, you can see the Max Holloway 2 fight, but then he got woken up at 2 a.m. for a fucking USADA drug test, and all that type of stuff, and he still managed to pull out the last 3 rounds. You know? But yeah, that's Israel Adesanya, and as well, his fan base is just so delusional. Like, straight up. They were like, what were they saying? In a rematch, they were gonna, Sean Strickland gets KO'd by Adesanya, and then, like, everywhere else, it's like, Adesanya has, the best knockout in the Alex Pereira knockout, thing. It's still 3-1. Yes, the KO was really fucking brutal, but, you know what I mean? And as well, you know when they deny, like, drugs? Like, he's on drugs, he's on steroids. That's another thing that pisses me off about Adesanya fans. He's definitely on steroids. Definitely. And it's not just him. It's like they think they're separating him. There's so many. It wouldn't surprise me if Alex Pereira's on steroids, but there's no, like, evidence that supports it other than me going like, well, he did kickboxing and he hits hard, so he might be on steroids. But it wouldn't surprise me if he tested positive. Obviously, we know drug testing isn't that reliable. But moving on to the second worst fan base in UFC. John Jones fans. Now listen to me. Listen to me right now. Can you argue he's the GOAT? Yes, you fucking can. The names on his resume are so fucking good. But when I tell you that he fought a majority of undersized humans, he was one of the first, like, proper light heavyweights, and was beating people who were, like, fat welterweights and fat middleweights, and, like, you know what I'm trying to say here. And it's like, as well, everyone just, like, has this thing, like, recently with the Aspinall fight, people are acting like John Jones is Aspinall and Aspinall's John Jones. That's the thing. Oh, John Jones destroys Aspinall. What evidence proves that? What evidence? Because I can show you evidence that proves that Tom Aspinall can beat and KO John Jones, right? I'll tell you this. I will tell you this, right? John Jones has always shown weaknesses to boxing. Shown in the Dominic Reyes fight where he got his ass kicked for 3 rounds and still lost the fight. But Dominic Reyes is on a new run, you know. And it's like, what are you even arguing? It's like, I think Tom Aspinall can pretty much do that and knock him out in a round. But my only issue with that is that he's got a really good chin, John Jones, and I'll give him that. But it's like, you argue this, and he's like, well, it's John Jones, he beat everyone. What sort of fucking argument is that? That's like me saying, like when I chose Lopez to beat Volkanovski, or when I chose Ilya to beat Volkanovski, or when I chose Makhachev to beat Volkanovski, easily could have just turned around and said, well, he beat everyone at featherweight, so he's going to beat them too. Them 3. Like, it's such a retarded take. Another fucking point they make, they just deny the robbery that is Reyes versus Jones. John Jones lost the first few rounds and should have lost that fight, but they wanted to make the Francis Ngannou fight, and that's why they didn't give him the win. That is simply why. It was money and it was greedy. You can even see on Dana White's face that he's like, shit, we should have gave this belt to Dominic Reyes. Wrong fight though. Wrong fight. I'm joking around. But like, it's just annoying. And as well, people act like that win over an old Stipe is such a really good fucking win. Like, I love Stipe. I think he's one of the most underrated fighters in the fucking sport. But he is not a oh my god. He was not at his prime. And I think in his prime, he would actually beat John Jones. How about that for a fucking say? I think a prime Stipe Miocic would be a prime John Jones moving up to light heavyweight. They make out that John Jones is one of the most unbeatable fighters. He is beatable. I have seen Dominic Reyes beat him. I've seen him take Anthony Smith, the worst fighter on the roster right now, to a decision. He took Thiago Santos to a decision. He was on one leg. He is not the like, I know you can say whatever you want. And as well, how does he even have a fan base? Beats his woman, you know what I mean? Fucking beats him to a bloody pulp. He's a, you know, there's so much. I need to chill out because I'm about to say things that you know if you're on the underground level of you know things about John Jones, if you know what I mean. But the guy's just a piece of shit human. Takes coke, beats up women, runs over pregnant lady. He's a piece of shit human. And like, Tom Aspinall, you have one job. If this fight ever gets signed, you have one job. Please KO this man within 1 round. In 1 round, you need to KO this man. Please. But we're moving on before I get too far into this shit. Need I have to explain? And yes, it is copyrighted. I don't give a shit. I copied this off fucking Google. Yeah. Dagestani fans. And I guess you could just say Caucasus fans in general. Other than like the Georgians. And we'll get onto that in a minute. But the Hamzat fans, the Zabit fans, the fucking Khabib fans, the Islam fans, the Umar fans, just the fucking lot of them, yeah? I have people saying that Tagar Alyubekov, is that his name, Alyubekov? I think that's his name, right? He's going to be champion. Like, he definitely could be a champion, let's be honest. He definitely could be a champion, but he definitely couldn't be a champion. I mean, he definitely can't be a champion. And I think he is still young, so he can improve. But can we just stop saying that? And then we got people like, who like root for Islam. I love Islam. I want Islam to become the GOAT. Yeah? If Islam beats fucking, like, moves up to 170, let's say, beats JDM, comes back down, defends against fucking Ilya, fucking moves back up, defends against fucking Shavkat or something, moves back down and fights fucking Arman Tsarukyan, his hardest matchup ever, right? And he wins all them matches. He's the GOAT, undeniably. And it's like, they just make it out. I can't really shit on Islam too much because Islam is like such a good thing, but they make out like he's unbeatable. Like I've seen, what's his fucking name? The guy who knocked him out, Moises, is it? Is it Moises? I can't remember off the top of my head. I think Moises is the guy who knocked him out early in his career. I've seen you beaten. You know what I mean? You are beatable. Stop acting like he's not unbeatable. He is beatable. Khabib, they try and argue he's the GOAT. Yes, he was one of the most dominant fighters, and if I had to make a dominant, like, best wrestlers in UFC, Khabib is number one, undoubtedly, just based on skill. But you cannot deny Khabib is one of the best dominant fighters. But you act like he beat fucking 3 John Jones, 2 fucking GSPs, 5 Aldos. Like, he didn't do anything like that. You know what he did? He fought Conor McGregor, and he couldn't pass his guard in the first fucking round, right? He couldn't pass his guard in the fucking first round, and he was trying like fuck, right? You know what I mean? Right? And then the second round, he battered him, right? And it's like, I think like it's just that casual sort of like Muslim audience that only really want to watch their fighters fight, and then they'll look at like Khabib and be like, well, he dominated their guy, so he's the GOAT, when in reality, he just isn't. And then we can get on to Umar. Your fight with Merab was one of the best fights of this year, it really was. But it wasn't a robbery. Like, I thought you won, in all fairness. I'm not gonna lie, I did think you won. Like, the cut on Merab's face should have won you that fight. But it wasn't a robbery. Like, there was too much control and not enough damage in that fight. You know what I mean? It was either way. It was either way. And I'd love to see, like, a Weasel make a video on, like, the damaging strikes in the fight and see who really won. Because technically, Umar should have won that fight, but we all know that. I think the Weasel is a Georgian, so he's always biased towards the Georgians. He's always biased towards Merab. Acts like it wasn't close against fucking O'Malley, because I love how when you hate a fighter, all logic goes out the window. Because everyone hates O'Malley, and I'm like, I do too, but like, you know, I'm unbiased. You know, but we can go further with this, yeah. Zabit, I have people saying that Zabit would beat prime Volkanovski. I'm just sat there like, what are you on about? What? Did you not watch this guy's fights? Like, he's definitely top 15 level, but nah, he doesn't beat a Volkanovski or a Holloway at the time. You know, because I think Holloway's going to be washed now that he's been KO'd. You know what I mean? And then they're just, like, ironically, they're just denying, because Ilya is a dangerous matchup for Islam Makhachev, and they're just denying the fight. They're like, no one wants to see that fight. Like, trust me, we all want to see that fight. You're talking shit, pal. We all want to see that fight. Every single one of us want to see that fight. It's just you, because you don't want to see your favourite fighter get killed. Like, I want to see fucking... Who's my favourite fighter? I don't even know. Probably a Peter Yan. I want to see Peter Yan versus Umar, right? And regardless of the result, even though I do think Yan would win, but I think Yan would actually like dominate the last 4 rounds. But I wouldn't be like, oh, I don't want to see it happening because Umar can actually win. You know what I mean? What's another dangerous matchup? Like Tom Aspinall and like maybe like an Almeida or like a Garn. I think that's a really bad matchup. I wouldn't be like, oh, I don't want to see Tom Aspinall fight then. I'd be like, I want to see it happening, but I'm going to be fucking terrified when it does happen. And yes, it would be a close fight, him and Garn. The movement was going to contradict each other very much. But yeah, that's just a topic right there that we can talk about. And then Hamzat fans, fucking hell, they act like you're going to... He has destroyed everyone so far, and it's so hard to argue with him. But it's like you bring up Gilbert Burns, how he went to war with Gilbert Burns. Usman, how after it was a draw, that fight was a draw. It was a draw. You know, that fight should have been a draw, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says, right? And they're like, no, he dominated, like we score fights on the first round only. Imagine if we scored fights in the first round only. You know what I mean? They pick and choose when it's time to score. It's like, actually, back on the John Jones ones. You got to beat the champ to beat the champ, right? So fuck it. Give Pereira back his belt. You know what I mean? But nah. Yeah, I'm going to end the video here because I'm going to go onto some like dangerous territories with all of these. Because I almost did with John Jones. And I'm going to go even dangerouser with these. So I'm going to end the video here. Like, subscribe, and comment if you want a part 2. And if you want that Joe Rogan, top 5 Joe Rogan worst takes ever. Worst takes ever. If you want that, please comment it. Please comment it. But yeah.